说中文。
Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hi there, you're listening to a Newbie lesson on Chinese Pod. I'm Jenny.
Hey everybody, my name is Greg.
Today we're talking about how good your Mandarin is.
Yes, exactly. It's a very common conversation that you'll be having in China when you come to visit.
Chinese people tend to be very, very generous with their compliments.
Absolutely.
When a foreigner simply says 你好, you get a lot of, wow, your Chinese is so good.
A lot of people blown away.
Yes, so we'll be teaching you how to probably deflect praise and deal with that situation modestly. Mm-hmm. Okay, now before we listen to the dialogue, let's preview a word which means Mandarin.
Okay, what is it?
普通话普通话
Okay, so a 3-character word. It's P-U third tone, T-O-N-G first tone, and H-U-A fourth tone.
You're correct. 普通话 Now that means Mandarin Chinese.
Perfect.
Okay, let's listen to the dialogue 3 times. Dialogue first time.
你的普通话真好，
哪里？
你学了多久？
我学了半年。
Second time.
你的普通话真好，
哪里？
你学了多久？
我学了半年。
Third time.
你的普通话真好，
哪里？
你学了多久？
我学了半年。
And now the translation.
你的普通话真好
Your Mandarin is really good.
你的普通话真好
Your Mandarin is really good.
你的普通话真好哪里
You flatter me.
哪里
You flatter me.
哪里你学了多久
How long have you been studying?
你学了多久
How long have you been studying?
你学了多久我学了半年
I've been studying for half a year.
我学了半年
I've been studying for half a year.
我学了半年
Okay, so again, going to be a very common conversation you'll be having with Chinese people. They love to compliment your Chinese. So without further ado, let's get into the first sentence.
你的普通话真好你的普通话真好
Okay, so this is the actual compliment itself, right?
Yes. Now, this sentence features a word which we previewed. 普通话普通话
Okay, so that means Mandarin. So how do we say your Mandarin?
你的普通话你的
Okay, so this is 2 characters. The first one,
你
N-I third tone just means you, right?
Correct.
But then we have this other little particle at the end. What does that do?
的 Now that turns a pronoun into a possessive or a noun into a possessive form.
Okay.
对
So from you into your.
Exactly.
Okay.
So for example, if you wanted to say mine, you can just say 我的我的
Okay. Or his?
他的
Okay, so it's as simple as just adding that little "da" at the end.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Now, we already know this lesson is about complimenting someone. So how do we make this sentence into a compliment?
A wonderful question.
You need 2 magical words.
Okay.
真好真好
Okay, so the second word is, of course, 好,
对
which means good.
Exactly.
But we're not just talking about good, a pedestrian good. We're talking about really good.
Impressive.
Yeah,
Right?
so what's that additional adverb?
真
Okay, Z-H-E-N first tone.
Right. 真 Now that means real or really
Okay.
or very, right?
Right.
Okay, so altogether, 你的普通话真好。你的普通话真好。
Okay, and of course, we're really embarrassed. Our Mandarin's not that good yet.
对。
How do we deflect this praise politely?
哪里哪里？哪里哪里？
Okay, so this is the same phrase repeated twice in a row. What is it?
哪里？哪里？
So this is NA third tone, LI neutral tone.
Yes, now you might have learned this phrase meaning where.
Right, like a question word meaning where.
Yes, but when you double it up, 哪里哪里, it becomes a way to say, oh, you flatter me. I'm not that good.
Where am I good?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you can say it like that.
Yeah, so you're flattering me or just, oh, you're too much, something like that.
Yes. 哪里哪里. Now, I think this is a phrase that most Chinese books will teach you at the very beginning.
Right, because, yeah.
Yeah, because it's very easy to remember, right? But I have to say, for a Chinese, we don't really use it all that often
Okay.
in real life. It probably was used quite often, like 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, so it's a bit old-fashioned, but it's still effective, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And to be honest, people really expect it coming from a foreigner.
Uh-huh.
对，
Okay.
好像 foreigners, they all know the phrase 哪里哪里.
Right. Okay, so keep it in mind.
Okay. Then the Chinese speaker wants to know how long has this person been studying?
Right. So, how do they ask that?
你学了多久？你学了多久？
Okay, so how long have you been studying? So the key verb here obviously is to study. How do we say that?
学
Okay, XUE second tone.
Yes, 学. Now here we want to ask the duration, the length.
Right.
So the question word for that is 多久？多久？
So this asks what length of time have you been doing something?
Yes,
So that's DUO first tone, JIU third tone.
yes. 多久? Now pay attention to the pronunciation of 久. The pinyin is JIU. You might be tempted to read it as 久. But actually there's a hidden O in the pinyin IU.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So 久.
Jiu. Okay.
Yes.
Welcome back to another installment of Chinese Pod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does Chinese Pod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, Chinese Pod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
Now, if you want to have a better understanding of Chinese pinyin, then you might find our pinyin series very useful.
Absolutely.
Okay, 你学了多久? Now, here we also have a little particle after 学.
Right, I noticed that.
学了.
So this la, L-E neutral tone,
Yes.
sort of barely perceptible, but what does it mean? It's very important.
Yes. It refers to a completed action.
Okay. So this specifies that the asker is asking, how long has the...
The studying been going
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
你学了多久? 你学了多久? Now, remember this as a phrase. Okay, 你学了多久? In fact, the phrase verb plus 了 plus 多久. You probably should remember that as a lexis, an entirety.
Right, just how long have you been doing something up to this point?
Yeah, 你 verb 了多久?
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
And the answer uses the same pattern.
Right.
我学了半年. 我学了半年.
So, of course, the subject changes from you to me.
我
Right? But Other than that, it's the same.
学了，学了。
And then the time at the end is how long?
半年，半年。
So we're talking about half a year.
Yes. Now let's look at how we say year. 年，年。
N-I-A-N second tone.
Yes, 年. That means year. And 半, 半, B-A-N, fourth tone means half.
Okay. Been studying for half a year.
我学了半年.
Okay, perfect. Let's listen to the dialogue 3 more times.
Dialogue first time.
你的普通话真好，
哪里哪里，
你学了多久？
我学了半年。
Second time.
你的普通话真好，
哪里哪里，
你学了多久？
我学了半年。
Third time.
你的普通话真好，
哪里哪里，
你学了多久？
我学了半年。
So Jenny, I have a question for you. So as we all know, China is massive.
Yes.
There are many isolated areas and pockets that speak different dialects. Am I right?
You are correct. I would say every region in China has their own dialects.
Right.
For example, we're in Shanghai, and actually the city of Shanghai, this place has its Shanghai dialects, which is very, very different from 普通话.
It's spoken, it's practically a different language, right?
Exactly. Now, most of these dialects don't have a written form, but when you listen to it, especially if you move down south,
Right.
it becomes vastly different from Mandarin Chinese.
Right.
And you can imagine how difficult it was to get things done because you couldn't communicate with people from other areas.
Right.
And that's why this whole movement of unifying or standardizing a form of Chinese started. And we end up with this 普通话.
And actually, you mentioned the word standardizing. That actually is reflected in the word 普通话 itself, right?
Yes, because 普通 means like common,
Okay.
standard.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So literally common or standard speech.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so 普通话 is the most widely spoken language in China now, and that's what kids learn in school.
Okay.
And there are also several different words which all mean like Mandarin Chinese.
Okay. What are those? Can you give us some examples?
For example, 中文.
Okay. You probably heard this before.
Yeah, 中文, 中 as in 中国, China, right? And this is a very commonly used, very colloquial word. And then another word that's more formal is 汉语. 汉语.
Okay. So these are both words that refer to Mandarin Chinese, though, generally speaking.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
But 普通话 and 中文 are used more in daily life.
Okay. So keep an ear out for those 3. If you hear any of those, they're all talking about Mandarin Chinese.
Exactly. As more and more of people do, then make sure that you download the Chinese Pod iOS or Android app because
Absolutely.
it's a very convenient way of studying Chinese. And we'll see you next time. 再见.
See you next time. 再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
1986.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/1986 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/1986.